All right. Did it make you guys pros or what? Pro level, right? Pro level play with those, man. I saw you guys spinning the balls and stuff. It was awesome, bro. Glad you guys are playing pickleball, man. One day you're going to play like John and Cheyenne. Trust me. 1 or 2. You know the rules, man.
Hey, everybody. My name is CJ Johnson.
And these are John, Cheyenne, Stephanie, and I'm Tony Roy.
And together, we're going to help you to improve your non-volley zone game with these kitchen strategies. Tony, I think that mistake number 1 is dinking without thinking.
Let's show it to him, Stephanie. Let's show him what that looks like. So here, what happens is sometimes we dink like this. I'm dinking to John. Now I know John, oh, and John's going to pop me, right? He's going to attack me like that. We don't want that. So what we want to do is we want to dink with our brains on. Go ahead and start it again. So this time, if I know that about John, right, I'm going to put it over there, right? I'm going to push John on his backhand side, knowing that this side is probably not as likely to get me killed by John's attack.
Mistake number 2 is a lack of confidence in the dink, so the player pulls the trigger way too fast.
Let's do it again. Definitely, CJ. So what happens is players who aren't comfortable with their dinking, they'll come in here and they'll try and do something and then they get killed, right? Like that. So what'll happen there is instead of doing that, what you want to do is you want to get comfortable with your dinking so that when you get stressed out on your dink, you can just throw it in there knowing that you have a decent dink just like John hit. Confidence with your dink is going to get you away from trying to pull that trigger too early.
Mistake number 3, not enough clearance, trying to skim that net.
Skimming the net. So Stephanie and I are going to demonstrate the skimming the net. We're going to dink here with John and Cheyenne. And then, so a lot of times what happens is players will start to like really skim that net. You want to hit it so low over the net, so you end up hitting the net. Instead of skimming the net, what you want to do, give yourself some nice clearances. When you're dinking, like Stephanie showed there, lift that ball up, let it clear that net, and drop on the other side, unattackable.
Tony, mistake number 4, and this is a big one. Too big of a backswing.
Too much of a backswing. You don't want that. Stephanie and I are going to demonstrate. So we're going to start the dinking here. And what happens is when you're using too much backswing, you end up either making a mistake or the dreaded. That's not good. So what you want to do is instead of using a bit of backswing, is you want to have a nice compact stroke where you're able to get under the ball and lift it using tip number 3, which was give yourself some more clearance over the net.
All right, Tony, point number 5, a lack of intentionality. Players just change direction just to change direction.
Yeah, and what happens is you get burned on this. So what will happen is, let's assume that we're dinking over here with Cheyenne. So we're dinking over here, and she goes to Stephanie, and Stephanie changes direction. What happens if I don't move over, I get burned down the line. So when you're going to swing the trajectory of your dink from one side to the other side, if you don't move with it, you're going to get burned.
Mistake number 6, Tony. We see players all the time do an extreme change of direction.
Very difficult to change a dink that's coming all the way across like this, take it off the paddle and put it over here, as opposed to going back to the middle. I'll show you the first one first. So what we're going to do is a super extreme angle, and I'm trying to go that way. A lot of times you make a mistake there, it went out of bounds because that ball is carrying this way. It can go out of bounds or into the net. What I want to do there is if I get an angle like that, is I want to go back more towards the middle. Take it where the ball's coming from, and rather than trying to redirect it, is going to be a better dink most of the time.
Number 7, Tony, it's movement and moving from an incorrect position.
Here we go. So I'm going to start some dinking here. And what happens is if I'm standing up like this, super like this, there's no way I can react to that ball. So instead, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're up on your toes and always ready to move in any direction. So here, if I get dinked again and I'm ready, now I can get ready to hit the next shot without getting stuck and not being able to move to cover the shot.
Bonus tip, as you know, we always have a bonus tip for you. And we see this one all the time, letting a player off the hook when they're in trouble.
Happens all the time. So here I'm going to start the dinking here. And what'll happen here is I'm going to get put in trouble here, right? And what happens is, so I'm going to put it to John. And then what John does is John goes to Stephanie. I'm in trouble. Don't hit it to Stephanie. What you want to do there is if I get in trouble again, now John keeps it me and keeps pushing me, right? And I'm in trouble and he keeps working me until he gets an error. It's very hard for me to make that mistake, but that will happen when you play.
Take these tips to the court and you'll know what to do the next time you're in a dink game.
And if you want to learn more how to play amazing non-volley zone play, check out this video up here and apply the tips that we showed you in this video and you're going to play amazing pickleball. We'll see you next time.